Hello, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Divine Femininity United. I am your girl, Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee. I am here to guide you through this forgiveness journey. It has been a tumultuous one, to say the least, okay? It has been one that has been transformative. It's been confronting. It's been causing us to be vulnerable. It's been causing us to be triggered, which is a good thing. You want to be triggered because if you are not triggered, then you won't be able to identify the space and the area in which you need to be healed. Okay. If we're desensitized to the things that we need to know and how to learn and grow, then we won't be able to expand ourselves, elevate ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We won't be able to evolve, and that's something that we don't want. Okay, we always want to stay in a posture to learn and grow. We always want to stay in a posture to face self, to be able to be honest with self and all of those things. So being in denial does not help us. It stagnates us. It keeps us where we are. And one thing we don't want to do is remain in the same place. We want to always continue to grow. Okay, because if not, then what are you living for? Okay, if you don't want to grow, if you don't want to expand yourself, if you don't want to evolve, if you don't want to go further, then why are you here? What are you here for? Okay, I know what I'm here for, and I am going to give myself the honor of arriving at my destination at my very best, how I was designed to arrive at my destination at my very best. This journey here is really just a reminder of who we are, what we're made of. That's it. That's all. Reminding us of what we're capable of, reminding us of how royal we are, how sacred we are, how divine we are, and aligning our divinity to our physical life here on this earth, and then aligning those gifts, abilities. Hello, welcome. Come on in and share if you don't mind. But aligning that life and that divinity and that sacredness with our gifts and our talents, our passions, our purposes, so that we can go and fulfill this destiny the way that we're supposed to. Right. And oftentimes we have to go through the process of forgiving people and releasing things and letting go of stuff and forgiving ourselves and healing from past traumas and scars and betrayals and all types of stuff, y'all. We got to release the stuff. We gotta release the stuff in order for us to see the very best of ourselves. We have to, in order for us to get the fulfilled life that we deserve. We have to. We can't sit in bitterness. We can't sit in unforgiveness. We can't sit in anger. We can't sit in resentment. We can't sit in that fear, anxiety. We cannot sit in that. You know what I'm saying? Now, we have the ability to do so, but why would you want to? Again, if you're not evolving in life, why are you here? If you don't want to expand in life, why are you here? All right. I, again, know why I'm here, and I intend to get to that destination exactly how I'm supposed to, right? Completely and fully at my highest. And I know that I'm capable of that, and so are you. All right. Before we get into today's reading, which is day 13, today's focus is I forgive men. Last week we gave it to the women. Now I'm a woman. I love being a woman, but baby, y'all already know, if you're a woman, you understand that some of us can be a mess. Okay. Thank you for sharing, honey. Some of us can be a mess. And I'm being nice with saying mess. Okay. We have the capability of destroying things, man. We might be small in stature in comparison to the men, but baby, our punch is a power-packed one, okay? And it comes in the way of words, our mouth, our some of our conniving, sneaky, devilish, vindictive ways. My goodness, boy, the ways of an unhealed woman, the ways of an immature woman, who can be lethal. But today, we are focusing on the men. I forgive men. I forgive men. Before we jump into that conversation, you already know today is Sunday, so we have our Sunday announcements. And the one announcement that I do have is talking about the upcoming Sacred Woman retreat. All right, that is scheduled for September 24th through the 28th, where I have the honor of being the keynote speaker for this particular cruise. It is amazing. We're going to Ensenada, Mexico, by way of Catalina Island. And I want to go ahead and talk about that before we get started. Now, if you're viewing via video on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, then you'll be able to see the commercial, the video that is going to run on the screen. But for those who are in Clubhouse, whether you're here physically or live, or whether you'll hear it on a playback, I'll be narrating what the video is playing. Okay. All right, here we go. This is the Sacred Woman Retreat. All right, now that the Sunday announcements are over, it is time for our day 13. Forgiveness, 21 days to forgive everyone for everything. And we are talking today about I forgive men. Okay, I forgive men. We are reading from the book written by Iyanla Vanzant. Okay, my coach. I learned from her directly, still learning from her directly, and I am honored to do so. I think we all are learning from her directly. If you follow her, then you absolutely know that she is a beast. Okay, she is a beast, and she is no nonsense. And I'm so grateful because I got that same no nonsense factor from her as well. I tell people all the time when I'm coaching them, I say, listen, I tell them outright up front, you are not going to like me during this process. Okay, I know I am fine, Dr. B. Gorgeous, chocolatey, almondy, caramel colored Dr. B. Beat down, hair slayed, face beat, gorgeous clothes, jewelry, all of that. I agree with every single thing. But guess what? During this coaching and therapy process, oh, honey, I am not going to be your friend. Okay. I tell them all the time, you pay me to do a service and I intend on completing the service. Okay. And oftentimes, in order for us to get to where we want to get to, we have to first, number one, identify where we are, why we are, what we are, face it, confront it, and then we got to rip ourselves out of it. Okay. We got to come out of that old self, step into our new self. And y'all, the process to do so is not fun. It is not fun at all. No one likes change. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. And again, feel free to share. We love new friends, new family. So feel free to share, okay? All right, here we go. Day 13 of forgiveness. 21 days to forgive everyone for everything. Today's focus is I forgive men. Let me not bind your son with laws I made. He is not bound to me except by my beliefs about him. My only function is to forgive my beliefs that bind me in the time-space body to pain. I am not bound. I am free the moment I let go of the false beliefs, the foolish false beliefs about what I am and who I am, about what they are and who they are. My only function is to forgive what I thought was allowing me love to take its place. Okay? Now, as you all know, as she has proven throughout this entire process, Iyanla Vanzant always goes into a focus with a forgiveness story, whether it's hers or whether she brought a guest on to share their story. This in particular story is her story. And it reads, in spite of all of my misgivings and apprehensions, I really thought we were moving along quite nicely. We had known each other for many years before we became sexual and intimate. We had a healthy respect for each other's space and responsibilities as professionals. We had a great time together, walking, talking, laughing, and doing simple things like popping popcorn and eating it while lying in bed. It felt really good to me, and I thought it felt the same for him. Boy, was I wrong. Without warning or provocation, 3 years into my first healthy relationship, he packed up and left, stating, I am not the man for you. That was it. No further explanation was offered. Quite frankly, none was required. He was a man. They all lie, cheat, take what they want, and leave you scratching your head, bewildered and brokenhearted. I just thought he was different. I wanted him to be different. It hurt my feelings that he wasn't different. And I was mad as hell that I didn't see it coming. I have spent the majority of my adult life trying to figure out who to be, how to be, and what to be to keep a man interested and committed in a relationship. I have used food as a way to his stomach and heart. I've been a warm and welcoming, ever available sexual partner. I've been aloof and hard to catch. I've been coy and demure, helpless and dependent, independent and powerful, none of which has worked. I have asked them what they wanted. I have heard that wait. I'm sorry. I've heard that what he wanted was me. Okay, so she had a misspell there. That lasted only until someone younger, older, smarter, thinner, fatter, or more experienced came along. When that didn't work, I made it up as we went along. To that end, I was deemed to be needy, moody, pushy, bossy, too dependent, too independent, angry, passive, aggressive, or fine, but the timing was just not right. By the time I was 45, I determined that they were all crazy. They could not be trusted, and that I was going to live the rest of my life happily with Bob, my battery-operated boyfriend. Thank God I have close non-sexual male friends to help me figure it all out. Like many women, I had numerous stories of betrayal, disappointment, heartbreak, and vileness that I had hung on the hook of men. I could have told you chapter and verse what I had done for them and what they had not done for me. I used to sordid details of my stories as an excuse to talk badly about men, judge them, mistrust them, expect little from them, and give of myself begrudgingly as I waited for the axe to fall on my neck. If I were to tell the truth, which is my intention, I would admit that even while I was lying across the bed with my head rested on his chest, licking the butter from the popcorn off of my fingers, there were several persistent thoughts playing in the background of my mind. I wonder what he really wants from me. This is too good to be true. He must have another woman somewhere. I wonder when and how is he going to leave me? What my male friends pointed out to me was that if I thought it, he felt it. One went so far as to say, the reason you keep attracting the ones who leave is because you expect them to do so. You cannot get what you want until you understand what you expect. What the? He's a man. He's crazy. It took me a minute to regroup. But when I thought about what he had said, it began to make sense. I had watched my father, my uncles, my brother, and even my son, only on occasion, treat the women in their lives less than honorably. I watched my stepmother, my aunties, and countless of my sister friends cry their eyes out over how the men in their lives had betrayed their trust and their love. My observations as a child and a teenager, coupled with my own experiences as a young woman, had left me angry, suspicious, judgmental, and, okay, I'll admit it, bitter. I had loved one man most of life, only to have him leave me not once or twice, but 4 times for someone else. I watched my daughter struggle for 15 years in a relationship. I helped my sister pack and sneak away in the night for a 12-year relationship. Somewhere in the back of my mind, not only was I bitter about what I had seen and experienced, I really did not want any part of it or men again. How was this possible? The thing I was chasing was the thing I didn't want. The thing I yearned for was the very same thing I was afraid of, and it was their fault entirely. Men and their nasty, mean, callous ways were totally and completely responsible for the craziness I was experiencing. But then again, if I can only attract what I expect, what was I to do with all of the hurt, sadness, sorrow, anger, and fear that had built up as a result of what I had seen and experienced? Forget it. Damn. It ain't easy being a queen or a forgiven soul. I forgive you, Daddy, for never being there for me and letting me down even when you were there. I forgive. To forgive means you must be willing to see things differently in spite of the hurt you feel. I forgive you, my uncles and cousins and family friends, for violating my innocence with your sexual deviance. When you spend more time being angry, hurt, and upset about what happened, you pretty much barricade the door of what is possible. I forgive you, my brother, for abandoning me when I needed you the most. It is impossible for you to express, accept, or demonstrate true, unconditional love until you forgive those who did not know how to love. I forgive you, women in my life. You stayed in pain longer than it was necessary or productive to do so. Once you become willing to let it go, God will open a new space in your heart and rewire your brain to know, receive, and express love in healthy ways. I forgive myself for believing that what I made up about who they were is the truth I had to live with for years of my life. Forgiveness is not an easy chore to undertake, nor is it for the weak. I forgive you, God, for leaving me out here to figure out all of this on my own. Yet, forgiveness is the daily minimum requirement for a healthy, fulfilling, and meaningful life. I forgive my mind for believing that what was is what always has to be. What was is what always has to be. Wow, 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 wow. My goodness. I have got to say that a lot of that story, I totally 1000% resonate with. 1000% resonate with. Now, just as Ayanla gave her story, here I am being vulnerable to give mine too. For a very, 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 very long time, y'all, I did not trust men for nothing in the world. Ooh, y'all. Listen. Okay, so here we are. Yes, I am a coach. Yes, I am a therapist. Yes. But check this out. I tell my clients often, if your coach and your therapist do not have a coach and a therapist, you are with the wrong coach and you are absolutely with the wrong therapist. Okay. Because there are so many things that we are all still journeying through. And I'm going to tell y'all something, just like she shared her story, I'm going to share mine. You all, if you got my book, you know my story. Okay. When it came down to men. Right. But for those who don't have my book yet, okay, visit my website and go get the book, y'all. But those of you who don't have my book, my story is this. I did not trust men for a very long time. For the majority of my life, honestly. Starting from a young girl. All right. And the first man, you all, the first man that a little girl has the pleasure and the privilege of encountering is her father. Right. Loved my father, but it was crazy because I had a love-hate relationship for my father. I loved him and I hated that I loved him so much. Right. Because he was not around. That's why. A lot of the things that we had to encounter, we had to undergo. We had to go through it. My mom had to go through it. Me and my brother at the time, we were the only two at the time. We had to go through it, right? Without my father. My father felt the need to go and start a whole new family, okay? Had a whole new family. And my father had always had a tendency to take care of other folks' kids way better than what he did his own, okay? It was a bitter resentment towards my father because anytime that we would hear of him and his newfound family, they would be doing amazingly. I'm talking about got houses, cars, name brand clothes, shoes, money here, money there, go-karts and whatnot, bicycles or whatever. Meanwhile, my brother and I having to wear shoes, hand-me-downs, and I was the only granddaughter for a long time, so I didn't have, elder girl cousins to get hand-me-downs from. I was the one that was handing me down, okay? But I received hand-me-downs from my mom and my aunts, okay? My shoes would come from how many of y'all know, come from the grocery store bin? Hello, okay? Well, we would have to sit in the middle of the floor to try the shoe on, okay? That's where my shoes came from. I did not receive my first name brand pair of shoes until I was a teenager, okay? Now, because my mom did what she only had the capability of doing. She handled as much business as she could with the limited resources that she had. Because again, she did not have any help from my father. Okay. My father left when I was 5 years old. Okay. And because of that, me being not only his first girl, but the eldest of my mom, the eldest living of my mom, a lot of the childhood experiences I couldn't have. Why? Because my mom worked all the time. So she was there, but she wasn't there because she had to do what she had to do to provide for us. So we would see her first thing in the morning when it was still dark outside going to work. And we would see her again coming home when it was dark outside, in the evening. During that day, the majority of it had to be myself kind of making sure that my brother and I got off the school on time. We had our clothes ready and out. We ate breakfast, or we came home and did homework. Don't get me wrong, but my mom we had overseers, because we all lived in the same building with my aunt and all of them and stuff like that. So, they would check in on us, and make sure that we were good. But for the most of the time, it was myself and my brother, So I would have to make sure that the house was clean, make sure our homework was done. All of that fell on me as the eldest. Y'all already know, what it is. As the girl, as the oldest, right? So a lot of the things, we would play and stuff outside, but there were certain requirements that I had as the eldest, to make sure that it was done prior to my mama coming home. Make sure this food is out. Make sure, make sure y'all eat this, and make sure you cook this, and make sure you clean this, and make sure and don't let this be not be done by the time I get home. And y'all know how it go. Okay. My father came back at the age of 15 years old. He called when I was 15. So you talking about a whole 10-year block, right? And I didn't have anything to say to him at all, because at that point I had become accustomed to being without him. Okay, I was good, so I thought. Okay, not understanding at that time, I was completely cold, blocked off to the fact to men overall, but because he was my first example of that, 15 years old. Not only that, shortly after his reconnecting, my grandmother, my matriarch, my mom's mom, who I was extremely close to, actually even more close to her than I was my actual mother, she passed away. Okay. Now, mind you, the whole time prior to that, I was a virgin, right? I was super petrified of sex, okay? Terrified. You understand me? My grandmother put the fear of God in me when it came down to sex. I never had the birds and bees conversation with my mom. Again, like I said, my mom was always working. So a lot of the conversations that you would have with your mother as a girl, I didn't have with her. I had with my grandmother. My grandmother put the fear of Jesus in me, okay? And so I held myself because of what my grandmother told me, but I also held myself just to, because I knew that it would make her proud, all right? But my grandmother passed away, all right? And when she passed away, at that point, my reason for continuing and keeping the structure and all of that stuff went away. Okay, so I grew cold. I grew cold, right? And then I had a boyfriend. I was a sophomore in high school. And I was dating a senior in high school. So you can tell me nothing, okay? And he was a twin, a captain of the basketball team, him and his brother, captain and co-captain. My goodness, Lord have mercy. I just envision that man's face. Don't y'all, have y'all ever looked back and saw the faces of some of y'all exes and be like, what in all of the name of everything was I thinking? Okay, child, oh, bless his heart. So dating the captain of the basketball team, popular, well known, the whole 9 yards, child. And sure enough, this man violated me to the utmost. Okay, to the utmost. I was taken advantage of. I was listen, he stripped me of my innocence. Okay, and left me to just to let me say it, left me to die. He left me in the dirt. I had to find my way back home. Took me hours because I had to walk, and I was tattered, bleeding, dirty, all of that stuff. Finally made it home. It was nearing midnight, and at that point, police was at the house already because my mom she just thought the worst had happened, or she was hoping that the worst had not happened. But at that point, I was hours away from the time I was supposed to be home. And by the time I walked in the house, I was numb. Y'all. Now, again, this is the second encounter of men, right? I was numb. At that point, it's like I had made up in my mind that the worst hurt from men comes from those who I know, right? That was the thought that I had, because here my father was, my father, and I was hurt by him, abandoned by him, rejected by him, left by him, right? And then here it is, a boyfriend, and I was violated by him, left by him, abandoned by him, right? Mistreated by him. So the men that are around me, I can't trust. So if I can't trust the men around me that I know, I can't trust any man at all. And from that day forward, you talking about Alcatraz, you talking about Rikers Island, you talking about a stone wall that was impenetrable. I had what Amarion had a song called "You Have an Ice Box Where Your Heart Used to Be." I had an ice box where my heart used to be. I didn't trust any man. I didn't like him. I didn't want to be around him. I didn't none of them. I walked around with a mean snarl on my face, and the men smile, sweetheart. Why don't you smile? Why you looking so mean? And I would the words, the venom that I would spew out of my mouth. Okay, I was so cold. I was so cold. And what's crazy is there was still warmth on the inside of me, but it's like I had to protect myself because nobody protected me. Right? The people that I trusted, my grandmother who I loved near and dear had gone. My mom was always gone and working, and the men that I trusted violated. So who am I to protect? Who's to protect me but myself? Right? Because I gave that honor to other people and they're misusing it. I had to trust myself. And I went on through life, y'all, angry with men. Angry. I had people that I would play with and holler at or whatever the case, but I never allowed them a space in my heart for real. Okay? Never. Because in my mind, much like Iyanla stated in her story, they were all going to do the same. She said, and I'm going to go back to the portion of the story where she said, they're all, what'd she say? They all lie, cheat, take what they want, and leave you scratching your head, bewildered and brokenhearted. I had convinced myself that because of my experiences with the people that I encountered in my life, with the men, the examples that I encountered, that they were all just like that. Just like that. Okay? Just like that. I had convinced myself that that was true and lived accordingly. I didn't trust anybody. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And not only that, even when I did open myself up to dating, it's like before the 90-day mark, they would do what did she say? They would leave. They would up and leave. They would, find somebody younger, older, smarter, thinner, fatter, more experienced, or whatever the case. within 90 days. And so because that was happening, right? Here I go. I done changed the game in my mind now. Okay. Because that was going on. The leaving before 90 days was happening. I convinced myself, I had rationalized this thing in order to not feel rejection, in order to not feel abandonment. I told myself that I'm giving them 90 days to prove that they're worthy of me. Right? You see what I'm saying? You see what we have to do in order to quiet our hurt instead of healing, right? We got to convince ourselves that we're the ones laying out the framework. No, honey. No. The reason that the people were leaving before 90 days is because, just like Iyanla said, the men in her life told her that the reason that they were leaving is because she was expecting them to. So the reason that people would leave me before 90 days is because I was expecting them to. Energy, y'all. Let's talk about how powerful energy is. Energy is so powerful. Words, which is also frequency, sound, frequency, energy, vibrations, all of that is so powerful that once we release it into the atmosphere, the universe is giving you exactly what you are putting out there. The universe knows nothing about, well, I didn't mean that for real. I was just saying, I was just angry at the time. I was just playing. No, universe don't know nothing about you playing. The universe knows that what you say, you will have. What you think, you will have. What you believe, you will have. How you operate, that's what's going to meet you. We attract what and who we are. Okay? What you mean, Miss B? That man violated you. That man raped you. That man, how did you attract that? You know how I attracted that? Because I did not see that I didn't allow my discernment to show me the signs that he was so clearly showing me, right? Before any of that took place. Here I am, a sophomore, green as the grass, okay? Sophomore in high school, and I am just smitten by this senior child, okay? Oh, I was popular, honey. Oh, you smitten? I'm talking about smitten by a senior dating a sophomore? What? What? Oh, honey. So all of the sudden, trust and believe, he didn't just all of a sudden become a jerk. He been a jerk. And I knew it. I knew it. But because of the status that it brought me, right? At least I thought. I stayed there and I dealt with it. You see what she said in her story. She said, I had to forgive my elders, my mamas, my aunties, and all of them for staying in a situation with these men that did not treat them well. I had to forgive myself. The only reason that anybody, male or female, was able to enter my life and wreak havoc the way that they did is because I gave them the open door to do it. I did not pay attention to the signs that they were, because people are going to show you who they are. And in the words of the late, great Maya Angelou, when a person shows you who they are, you must believe them the first time. The first time. They should not have to do the thing over and over and over and over before you get it. Believe them the first time. This person is telling you who they are. But no. It's something in us that needs that particular validation. It's something in us that needs that energy. It's something in us that needs that right there. And in the case of these men in my life, something in me needed that. And I didn't realize that in every relationship that I even went to, I was looking for the love, the attention, the affection, the protection, the security that I was looking for from my father that was not there. See, he was the precursor. My father was the template. He was the foundation that was laid in my life regarding what men was going to be in my life and what to accept. Because not only did I get not get the conversation about the birds and the bees and ladies and sex and all of this stuff from my mama, I definitely didn't get what a good man was conversation from my daddy. Because you got to be one in order to talk about how to be one or how to look for one. Huh? Now, of course, I'm talking about back then. Present day father, he's here. He's present. He's not been what he once was. Thank goodness. But there's a lot of restorative conversations and work and healing that yet still need to be done. Okay? Because a lot of times, oftentimes, a lot of people that did the hurting and the damaging and all of that stuff don't really quite realize the depth at which the pain went that they caused. They don't realize it. Just because they got themselves together, they feel like all should be forgiven. Oh no. What about all the years of the pain and suffering that you rendered unto me? I appreciate the fact that you over your whole situation. That's great and all. However, what about me? What about what you did? Okay? What about that? What about the scars that I'm left with here? What about the fact that I don't trust man because of you? What about that? What about I don't trust a man's words because of you? What about I don't trust that a man gonna stick around and handle his business because of you? What about that? We're talking about I forgive men. Okay? A lot of us right now are going through a lot of things in our lives, especially us women, because we are little girls inside. That inner child, in some cases in our lives, is broken, y'all. broken in shattered pieces. And Lord knows she is crying out for somebody to put her back together again. And it's going to start with forgiving where it hurts. It's going to start with forgiving where it hurts. It's going to start also with forgiving yourself for allowing certain things, man, to take place. I didn't know what love looked like. I didn't know what a good man was. So I accepted what came to my face. Right? Not to mention, let's go back and look at these examples that we had. Because not only did I not know what a good man was, because it was only one man in my entire life that actually stood for what was right. Right? And even that was my uncle, and an uncle that was married into the family. Okay, my mama's baby sister's husband, the late dear Grant. I'm gonna tell you something. That's the man that stood in and raised us all, who we don't have no blood in our bodies from. Okay, but he stood in as my aunt's husband, but as all of our I'm talking about me, my brother, and all of my cousins' male role model, because none of our fathers was ish. Okay. It's so sad, right? We talking about I forgive men here. I forgive men, right? He was the only example of what a responsible, protective man was. And even in him being an example, he had his many flaws. Okay? Trust me. Now, going back to what I was just about to say, the examples that validated and justified why I didn't like men, I sat and I watched my mama go through relationship after relationship of a trifling man. I sat and watched my aunts and watched my grandma, and I heard stories about the things that they had to encounter. I watched physical abuse take place. I watched and heard verbal abuse take place. I watched and saw the results of emotional abuse taking place. These are the type of men that we, the women of my family, was attracted and drawn to. Huh. So I'm sitting up here and I'm thinking to myself, if this is all that's out here, then baby, again, much like Iyanla, I'm just gonna go on and call it a day. I'm just gonna chalk it up. Okay, what she say? I'm just gonna live happily ever after with my Bob. Okay, my battery operated boyfriend. Because clearly, this is all this is the litter. This here, what they say? There's the fish, and there's plenty of fish in the sea, baby. If this is what the fish is looking like here, the tilapia that's out here, I'm good. I'ma chill. Okay. I have a sister that a stepsister that my dad adopted, and she told me once upon a time, she said, B, I thought you was gay. Because of the fact that I wasn't fooling with no man. I talk to you, I'll let you take me out on a date, but claim you, I would not. Oh no, I don't trust you. I didn't trust men. Oh, they violated. All right. See, Emma said my family used to think I was lesbian too, honey. Okay. Hardcore. You know why? Because I wasn't. My family right now to this day. My family right now to this day has only seen. We have a family reunion that happens every 2 years. Okay. The one coming up in the next couple of weeks. When I tell you, my family has only seen one man come to my family reunion with me, and that was my ex-husband. And he had to be my husband to do so. Okay? I have never, do you hear me? Capital Never. Never brought another man around my family. You know why? Because if I do that, then that means that you're going to be here. And I didn't know if you was going to be here or not. So I am not going to go through the process of introducing you to my people, because to be introduced to family indicates permanency. And because I had in my mind that y'all all lie, cheat, whatever, anyway. So I'm going to just go ahead and just keep you in the shadows because, again, they did what I expected them to do because I didn't set high expectations within myself. I didn't expect better from me. Therefore, what I got was what I expected. Right? We're talking about I forgive men here. In order for me to change my view of what type of men and what men were, how men are, and all of those things, I had to change me. I had to change me. I had to forgive all elements, right? I also had a dream. I had a dream around 27, maybe 28. This is before I relocated from Chicago, where I'm from. And I was in my apartment, and I typically a lot of times, if you all know me, then I'm a spiritual, guide. All right. So definitely. All right. Go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Mama B's Kitchen, and you'll get all the goods. Trust me. Okay. I don't play no games when I'm in my spiritual bag. All right. Now, when I say I'm a healer in all sense of the word. Know that, okay? Know that. You'll get the tea over on Patreon. Hello. Come on in. Welcome. You all hit share. We're talking about I forgive men here. I had a dream. And in this dream, it was just me and a male energy, okay? I felt the energy in my peripheral. They were to my right. I kind of saw the energy. Right? I never saw a face, but this energy was much taller than me. In fact, I felt like a little girl. I felt like a little girl standing next to him. The surroundings was all white. He had my hand in his hand. In front of me was a cork board type of board, okay? And it stretched as far as I can see. And on the board were Polaroids. If you're old enough to know what a Polaroid picture looks like, then you know what I'm talking about. And they were Polaroids just lined up perfectly neat, side by side. And in every one of these Polaroids, starting with my father, there was a picture in the Polaroid. Each Polaroid was a picture of me and a man that I encountered in my in my life. Okay, whether it's me and a father, me, brother, me, male cousin, me, uncle, me, teacher, me, best friend, me, whatever. The board was covered with Polaroids. Okay. There still was room left at the bottom of the board, the bottom portion of the board, because again, I'm in my 40s now. So that I had the dream around in my 20s. You know what I mean? So clearly there's been more men. But I looked at the board and I'm just facing it. And it was just silence at this point. The male energy said to me, what is the same? No, what is different? And I said, the men. He said, good. He said, what is the same? I said, me. He said, good. He said, you want to see a different image? Change you. You'll change the image. You want to see a different type of person draw to you? Change you. You'll change what draws to you. Every single male in every single one of those pictures, in one form or another, hurt me. Whether it was a lie, whether it was abandonment, or whatever the case. Every single one of those men, and when I tell you every single male in my life, was on that board. On that board. And I heard that message so clear, and I woke up and I decided I had to choose. I had to decide, because it takes an action on your part. You have to decide. You have to be in agreement with the process that you want to take. You got to be in agreement with this step, the steps to heal. You got to be in agreement with your desire to let this stuff go. Again, we're talking about I forgive men here. If you are not in agreement with the process of forgiving men, You will not forgive men. I don't care what affirmations you quote. I don't care what books you read. If you and your spirit, your inner self, your heart space is not in agreement, because the power is in the agreement. If you are not in agreement with this process to forgive, you, my love, will not forgive. You will not see the change. I had to decide for me that I am worthy of better. I wanted to see something different. And so I had to change what was the same in me. Because what's in me and what I was expecting, the low expectations and the low this and low that, all of it was reflective of who I saw me to be, how I viewed myself. I saw that all the men was going to leave me before 90 days because I didn't think I was worthy of anybody sticking around before longer than 90 days. I saw that people was going to lie to me because I accepted lies. I've been lied to. And I was lying to myself. Hello. How many of us have been in relationships where we literally have lied to ourselves, making ourselves believe that this person is really here for me, that this person really do love me? They're showing you every single day by their actions, their words, their everything, that they don't care about you as much as they at all. They don't care about you like they don't care about the man on the moon. They care about what you providing them, though. They care about your willingness to open up and give everything to them. That goes for male or female. They care about that. They care about what they can get from you. And that you will continue to give as long as you see no value in yourself. That's why she said, I had to forgive myself for believing that what I made up about who they are is the truth. Okay? I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself. And the first point of man and man example was her father. I had to forgive daddy for never being there for me and letting me down even when you were there. I had to forgive my father for never being there, for not being there when I was a child. I had to forgive my father for choosing to raise somebody else's daughter and not raising his own. I had to forgive my father for not covering and protecting me when it's his job to do so. I had to forgive my father for not being there when I was violated, for not hurting, for not being there to fight and to to cover and stuff like that. I should not, as a man's daughter, have ever been in a position to be violated like that. I should have been protected so tough and so strongly that no man should have ever been able to envision himself being able to violate me. That's how covered I should have been as my father's daughter. But I wasn't. To the point where not only did that young man see himself violating me, he went on to do so and lived to tell about it. Okay? Okay, DC. And lived to tell about it. Okay? I had to forgive my father. I still got to forgive my father today because oftentimes my father's too busy. He's a Capricorn to his core. And if you know Capricorns, and you know, my father's too busy all the time to make time for his daughters. It's 4 of us now. I'm still the eldest. Just because we grown don't mean we still don't need daddy. Okay? I still haven't had a conversation with my father about what a good man is. I had to learn as I went along. I had to figure that out on my own. Still learning. I'm not going to lie. Because I am a divorcee. So clearly, the man that I chose to be my husband, I didn't see either. Okay? Because boy, the stuff that I had to endure in my marriage, my God, all because no one taught me, no one showed me, no one told me, no one helped me, no one trained me, no one groomed me for this. What is this? What is this? What am I supposed to do with this? What are we supposed to do with this, y'all? Right? So yes, I had to forgive my father. Yes. When my father sits in his ego and his pride and his arrogance and his narcissistic ways, today I have to forgive my father. I have to. Sometimes forgiving him means forgiving him and shutting the phone off. Forgiving him and going my separate way and putting him on ice for a minute. Because my father can be a peel. He don't see it, but he absolutely can. And this ain't not trust and believe. What I'm saying on this screen here and in this conversation, he has heard from my throat. Please know, my throat chakra is well working, okay? Trust me. Because I went through healing. So the things that I was afraid to say back then, oh, ho, ho, ho. No man puts fear in me today. Know that. I'm healed in a lot of areas. Still journeying through. But I'm healed in a lot of areas. I will say that. I had to forgive my uncles and cousins and family friends and things like that for not being there, for not covering, for not protecting, for looking the other way, for all of that stuff I had to forgive. Because I was the only girl for a long time, y'all. The only girl, the only granddaughter, the only niece for a while. For a while. Where's my male cousins at? Because there were 5 male cousins before me. And then me. And then, four other men, boys after me. I'm surrounded by men. Where's the men? Where are the boys? Where's my covering? I didn't have it. I didn't have it. Also, the women in my family made me stay indoors, made me, learn how to cook and clean and sew and do the domesticated stuff that they were raised to do in Mississippi. They're training and bringing me up to do the same thing in Chicago. I'm a Chicago born and raised. They're Mississippi, okay? So that old school training and conditioning was given to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm grateful today for those abilities because, baby, I can burn in the kitchen, baby. Okay, the girl can do well in the slinging of the pot ministries. Okay, but and I don't play about a clean house. I certainly don't play about my presentation. Hello, okay. I don't play about none of those things. I don't play about any of those things. Okay, I was taught well, but with all of that training and teaching that I was given by the women in my family, none of them taught me what it meant to see what a good man was. Not only did they not teach me, they didn't demonstrate what it meant to stand up for yourself when it came down to men, because they all accepted subpar treatment, belittling treatment, abusive treatment. They all accepted it. They all went through it. So that was my example, by both men and women. We're talking about I forgive men here. So I had, in the process of healing and forgiving the things, I had to forgive the women in my family. I had to forgive my brother, the brother that I was raised with. Okay, now I got other brothers, right? I got 5 brothers. But my 2 older brothers, I have 2 older brothers and then me and then, the rest of the siblings, a total of 9 of us now. I had to forgive my brother who I was raised with because that brother, he and I share mother and father. We were together the majority of my life, right? Until we moved south. And then he, at the age of 14, when he moved, he never came back up north. So I came back up north without him. But my brother, oftentimes I felt had abandoned as well. Yeah, he my younger brother, yes. But we went through thick and thin together. We went through a lot of stuff together. And even now, sometimes, my brother, yes, he has his family. He got 3 girls, wonderful, beautiful girls. One in college, 2 in high school. You know, he has a wife, very successful wife. You know, he has a home. He was the first of us to purchase his own land, his own home, and all of those things. But at the same time, it's like when he went off on his own, he built his own thing. And the things of home was in the distance, you know? So where it was once he and I had to kind of maneuver and figure out just my stride on my own. So him being one of the people that I had put in that category of abandonment, you know, and being forgotten about, rejected and all of that stuff, overlooked, all of that. I had to learn to forgive him as well. We're talking about I forgive men here. Okay. So I had to forgive him for abandoning. Okay. When I needed him the most. There were times in my marriage where I suffered verbal abuse and emotional abuse and all of those things. My ex-husband used to, it was horrible. He hit and beat everything except for me. Because you know why? He might have been crazy, but stupid he was not. Okay. I will unalive him. Okay. And he already know. Bless his heart. Listen, okay. Don't try the kid. Chi-town born and raised. I will take your air straight out your chest. Don't even play me. We can fix this wall, okay? we can fix this wall. But brother, your dome is gonna be folded in. I'm gonna tell you right now, okay? I am not her. This ain't what you want, okay? For real, okay? So so a lot of that toughness I had to build on my own, because the men around me were not around me. They weren't there. They weren't protective. They weren't covering. I had to be my protection. Oh my God. This area here, you all, this area I battled with a long time, a very long time. Because at the end of the day, if you know me, and I'm very, very open about this, I am Libra in 5 places on my chart. I love to my core, right? So can you envision and imagine the conflict, the internal conflict going on? I have so much love to share and to give, and I'm catering to everybody and want everybody to just be okay and be well and be nurturing. My North Node is Cancer. I'm mother to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm nurturing to everybody. Can you imagine the internal conflict that I was having? Because I gotta be an ice box here, because the people violated me in my life. I wasn't protected, so I gotta protect myself. But I got so much love to give, and I just want to love everybody, and I just want to share, and I just want to give, and I just want to care. But if I do, then they're gonna violate me. You understand the conflict going on? It was crazy. And I had nobody around me. I'm talking about, have you ever experienced being in a family full of people, yet feeling by yourself? Talking about family huge on both sides, but you feel alone, isolated, right? Everybody showing up at a family reunion, everybody eating the ribs and the potato salad but are we covered? Are we protected by one another? Can I trust you? Those are different scenarios, different questions. You don't have to make a slab of ribs to answer this, to have these conversations. These are the real life conversations that, namely Black families, but all families, but I'm talking about Black families because that's all I've been ever. Okay. We are so troubled in having. Are you there? I know you're physically there, but can I count on you? Are you there? Have you been there? Have you been there? Why do I feel abandoned and you're present? I don't understand. Why do I feel rejected and you're here? You've been here. I don't understand. Overlooked, dismissed, and you're here every day. That blows my mind. I don't understand that. I had to learn to forgive the men. Okay? I had to learn to forgive. I had to learn to forgive the women in my life who stayed in painful situations, not knowing that they were also worthy of better. They taught me how to settle for what I was not supposed to have because they were my examples. They were my very present examples. So if y'all had to stay, then surely I do. If that's what y'all accepted, then surely that's what I'm supposed to accept, right? That's the template. How am I expected to do anything better, greater, bigger, wiser if I'm seeing less than great? Silly behavior. Come on now. It's called the law of the lid. You can only go as far as your leadership goes. You can only do what your leadership is showing you how to do. How did I know to make a different decision? How did I know to choose a different type of person if no one is teaching me what the difference is? We're talking about I forgive men here. I forgive myself. I had to forgive myself for believing that this was it. I had to forgive myself for accepting what this was and for convincing myself that this is all there was. Even now, I am unmarried. I'm unattached. By choice, because trust, the girl gets proposed to all the time. Okay, I mean, I understand I'm irresistible. I'm just saying. I mean, hello, it's the caramel for me. But I have to know that when it comes down to me being connected to someone, you got to be my purpose mate, not just another male figure here. No. I need to know that you're good for my path. I need to know that you're good for my journey. Because if you're not, I'm good. Because see, I'm happy and whole within myself. Know that. I'm not saying that I don't need a man. Okay. I'm not saying that. This ain't that, INDEP. I don't care about none of that. Okay. I need a purpose mate, because when God pairs you, God pairs purpose. God don't pair people. God pairs purpose. I need my purpose mate, because in that purpose mate, he is what I need. I am what he needs, and I evolve as he evolves, and vice versa. Okay. And not one time am I required to stop my journey just to appease him and to make him feel better about his, and nor am I asking him to stop his to make me feel better about mine. We are journeying alongside together, evolving together, growing together, sharpening each other's iron together. If it's not that, baby, I don't want it. Toss it. Please and thank you, sign me. Okay? Toss it. I mean that, baby. Let me tell you something about the power of the flick of the wrist. I don't need that. Listen, I know how to get to my triggers quickly. I know how to give myself the relief that I need. Hello, somebody. Know that, okay? You talking to I am a whole sexual coach here. You don't think I know how to give myself the things that I need? Hello? Can we talk here? Can I be real here? So clearly it's not just that I'm requiring. Of course, I require for my back to be broken on a regular basis. Know that, okay? Whoever he is, please know, baby, your own deck. Hey, okay? I plays no games about mine, but know this. I'm good if that's all you got to offer. if that's all you have to offer, I'm okay. I'm straight. I need you to be a whole God. I need you to be a whole God coming through my door. And I mean that, because trust and believe I'm a whole goddess. Know it. You're not getting nothing short of it. And and listen, I don't deserve anything less than what I'm deserving. And I won't accept anything less than what I'm deserving. That's just it on that. Okay? So me forgiving men led me to understand that there was more, and that and to be open to expect it, to nothing less to show up. I don't expect anything less. I refuse to accept it. Simply because that quote unquote, what is it? That biological clock is ticking. That joker can break down for all I care. Okay? What's meant for me will be for me. Even if this life says no, you know a partner is not, you're not going to have one before you leave here. So be it. So be it. I'm okay too. I'm okay. I am okay. That's it. That's all. All right? I'm okay. And that's my honest truth. I am okay. But again, I still needed to go through the process of forgiving men because, baby, I allowed them to do a number. You hear the words that I just said. I allowed them to work a number on me. Because I didn't see my value. I didn't see what I was worthy of. I didn't see how much I deserved. I didn't see it for myself. No one taught me. But honestly speaking, I appreciate them not teaching me, because it forced me to learn for myself. And things that you take the initiative and learn for yourself, they tend to stick a little better than things that's forced upon you. Right? I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I don't regret a step in my journey. I don't regret none of it. And it allowed me to understand what radical forgiveness meant, that regardless of how bad and tragic and horrid the situation was, it was all working for my good. I am here today as a result of it. I am here today as a result of every single thing that took place in my life. And for that, I'm highly grateful. Okay. That is my forgiveness story. Okay. Now let's go on. Daily forgiveness process reminders. In this process we're about to go into, if you have this book, then ensure that you can get to a place of quiet so that you can do this on your own. If you do not have this book, you should be back channeling me, emailing me, inboxing me so that you can get this book. It's only $5. It doesn't, just get the book. Invest in yourself, invest in your journey, get the book, okay? If you have the book, amazing. Find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed, okay, for at least 30 to 60 minutes. Because what we have to do is go through the process of writing our forgiveness statements down, because we have to go through this. We got to confront the issue in order for us to heal the issue. You understand? Okay, so make sure you find yourself in a quiet place. You want to sit still for about 5 minutes and listen to your stillness meditation. Get yourself quiet. Release the thoughts from your mind. Quiet yourself. Steady your breathing. All of that stuff. Ground yourself so that you can be able to not only process properly, but you can hear. You can feel what you need to feel. You can face and let this focus be the only thing that is in your mental passage. Okay. Then we're going to read through the forgiveness prayer, once silently and then once aloud. You're going to do this on your own, but we're going to read through it today as well, okay? Go through the emotional triggers. Go through the triggers. There's an emotional trigger list in the book. Some of these focuses trigger more than others. Last week, I forgive women, triggered as well. This week, I forgive men, triggered as well. Trust me. Trust me. Some of the other triggers that I had was I forgive my mom. I forgive my dad. Those were some triggers. I forgive my ex. Those were some triggers, okay? Trust me, okay? We are all, I don't care how many PhD, MD, whatever, BET, 1, 2, 3 letters you got around your name and title. All of that, none of that matters if you still got broken hearts, if you still got hurtful, whatever, bitterness, pain, unhealed, none of that matters. We are all holding each other hand, walking each other home. All of us are, okay? That kudos to you and your accolades, but baby, that means nothing if you still got areas in your life that need to be healed, okay? Take the time to do it because you're deserving of it, all right? All right, we're going to go and process our thoughts. We're going to process our feelings consciously through the forgiveness journal, okay? That's why I told you all at the top of this this session here, make sure you have your notebook, make sure you have your pen, because we're going to write some statements down here, okay? Listen to the gratitude meditation. There's a CD that accompanies the book. If you don't have the book, again, you can find any gratitude meditation that'll work for you. You want to complete the day's practice, okay, in quiet reflection with the meditative music. And then finally, be sure to do something good for yourself. Always, always, always. Love you hard. Love you big. Love you better than anybody can ever. Okay? Be sure to do that. All right, here we go. I forgive myself for judging men. Today is about forgiving men. If you are a man, you may need to forgive your father, brother, or another male figure who has caused hurt, harm, or disappointment in your life. If you are a woman, you may need to forgive those whom you have loved or those who refuse to love you. Those who have hurt you, shamed you, abandoned you, or those who left you scarred and wounded. In our world, masculine energy represents authority, power, and strength. When we have distorted and painful images of men and masculinity, more often than not, we find ourselves in dysfunctional relationships with all forms of power and authority. This means that when we need it most, our strength wanes. Open yourself to consider the glorious possibilities that lie just beyond how you have seen, held, and related to the masculine energy of the Creator that is embodied in all men. Okay? Alrighty, here we go. The forgiveness prayer. Dear God, today I ask for and open myself to receiving healing and restoration of my mind, my heart, and all of my relationships with men. I confess that I have not always been kind or loving towards men. I confess that I have held judgments about men and against men. I confess that I have allowed unkind, unloving, judgmental thoughts and beliefs to infect my relationships with men. For this, I ask for and accept your forgiveness, and I forgive myself. Today, I ask that my heart and mind be open so that I will accept all men as your sons and my brothers. I ask that you create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me so that my divine relationship with all men will be restored. I ask for the will to forgive and move forward in love. I lay down my weapons. I open my heart. I forgive. I let it be, and so it is. Okay? Now we're going to go, if you have your notebook and your pen, we're going to go into writing our forgiveness statements, okay? The first topic is, I forgive my mind for thinking. So that'll be the preface of the sentence that you want to write for yourself as you begin your statements, okay? I forgive my mind for thinking. That's going to be the start of the sentence. And then you draw 4 blanks after it, 4 blanks. I forgive my mind for thinking, blank. And then right up under, draw another blank, and lastly, the 4th blank, okay? Here's an example. I forgive my mind for thinking men will always abuse and disappoint me. That was a real one right there, okay? I forgive my mind for thinking men will always abuse and disappoint me. All right? Here we go. This is where you're going to fill it out. I forgive my mind for thinking men are blank. I forgive my mind for thinking men are blank. Okay? The next one. I forgive my mind for thinking men are not blank. I forgive my mind for thinking men are not blank. Third, I forgive my mind for thinking men always blank. So many words just went through my mind right there. Which says, y'all, that right there says that there's still triggers there, right? So I still need to go through. Hello, it's still some healing need to be done here. I forgive my mind for thinking men always blank. Last sentence, I forgive my mind for thinking men never blank. I forgive my mind for thinking men never blank. Okay, here we go. The next set of sentences, they will start with, I forgive myself for judging. I forgive myself for judging. Okay, example, I forgive myself for judging all men as being self-centered and irresponsible. Boy, listen. So just like the first set of 4, you want to write the I forgive myself for judging, and then write a blank, right? Right up under that, another blank, and then a third blank, and then lastly the 4th blank. Here we go. I forgive myself for judging men as blank. I forgive myself for judging men as blank. Next sentence. I forgive myself for judging men as not blank. I forgive myself for judging men as not blank. Third sentence. I forgive myself for judging men for blank. I forgive myself for judging men for blank. And then the last sentence. I forgive myself for judging men for not blank. I forgive myself for judging men for not blank. All right. That's the second set of sentences. Here we go with the final set of forgiveness statements. And it begins, I forgive myself for believing. I forgive myself for believing. Okay. Here's an example. I forgive myself for believing it is not safe for me to trust the men I work with. Ooh, that's a real statement right there for those who work with men, predominantly male-run companies, or you know what I'm saying, some of your male co-workers and things like that. Corporate America, y'all. Ooh, I've seen and have heard stories. Wow, that was a good example. Okay, here we go. I forgive myself for believing men should blank. I forgive myself for believing men should blank. Next sentence. I forgive myself for believing men should not blank. I forgive myself for believing men should not blank. Third sentence. I forgive myself for believing men always blank. That is a very definite, finite word, always. I forgive myself for believing men always blank. And then another finite word, I forgive myself for believing men never blank. I forgive myself for believing men never blank. All right. That was the final forgiveness statement. Now, as you all know, we go through the tapping sequence in order for us to really, really, really make this embedded, get this embedded in our spirits, in our minds, in our hearts, in our in our inner selves, our inner child, and all of those things. It is imperative that we repeat this process so that we can, while we're triggered and all of those things, because a lot of us, as we're writing these statements, we really feel these things. You know what I mean? You're feeling it as if it just happened, as if you're really true, like all of these things, these violations and all of these scars just happen. So as you're feeling those triggers and things like that, until those triggers decrease, you have to repeat this process in order for you to really get over some of these things, okay? So be sure to do that. Take this week and go through all of the processes, okay? Take this week, go through all of the steps, go through all of the processes so that you can really face these areas where you need to forgive men in your life, men from your past, because a lot of men have come and gone, right? Some of them are not even living anymore. A lot of men have come and gone, and yet they're still holding a huge part of our hearts. They're still holding a huge part of our minds, right? We haven't been able to move beyond them, and they haven't been in our lives or around physically for years, right? You need to release them, cut the cord from them, right? And gain your power back. Gain your power back. Get your life back. Get your mind back. Get your spirit back. Forgive, okay? Always reflect. When you go through all of this process, always sit and reflect. Reflect every night. I do a reflection every night, right, about what I did throughout the day, what I learned throughout the day, all of those things. But reflect on some of these processes, okay? And then the final statement, this is a quote by Sonia Rumsey, and she says, you cannot forgive just once. Forgiveness is a daily practice. It is a daily practice. Like I said, you have to repeat this stuff every day until yourself gets it, right? Repeat it every day until yourself gets it. All right. This is the end of today's focus. I forgive men. Coming from forgiveness, 21 days to forgive everyone for everything. It's possible, y'all. We have to decide to forgive, though. We got to decide that we want to be free of this stuff. We got to decide to forgive. We got to decide to let go. We got to decide to breathe easy. We got to decide to move forward. We got to decide. It is a decision that nobody can make but you. Okay. Next week, Sunday, that'll be June 18th. Okay. Day 14, I forgive my partner or my ex-partner. Okay. So this is the description of that. This is the passage going into that focus. I want the peace of God. The peace of God is everything I want. The peace of God is my one goal, the aim of all my living, the end I seek, my purpose and my function in my life. An unpeaceful mind cannot hear God. Any unpeaceful feeling is the indicator that what I am thinking is forgivable. Only false ideas disturb my mind, obstructing my natural peace. Let me remember I am not threatened by what I see, but my mind's whose thoughts are the images I perceive. Okay, that is day 14. I forgive my partner and my ex-partner. Okay. So that'll be one where I will share stories of my ex-partner. More known would be my ex-husband. It was a story that just came up just now that made me laugh. I'll save it for next week, okay? But regarding that whole situation. But I'm gonna tell you, listen, you all, trust and believe that when I'm saying and sharing these things, know that I'm sharing it from a healed place. Please know, okay? And I also am sharing it from a place where I've already shared it with them. Okay, so this is nothing that is being said behind them. Trust me. If you know me, you know that I don't hold no words. Okay. If you know me, then you know I've had all of these conversations with the individuals at hand, the guest of honor. Okay. Trust. I'm just now talking from a healed place because it takes transparency in order for the relatability to happen. It takes reaching in order to keep, right? Reap and keep. It takes me reaching out by way of showing y'all to listen. We all are walking this journey together. We are. I'm grateful for my journey. It led me to being who I am today. Okay. But as soon as we stop putting the mask on and acting like the stuff is not happening, we'll be freer. I promise you will. All righty, you all. Listen, once again, remember, if you have not registered for the Sacred Women's Divine Feminine Retreat, where I am a keynote speaker for, then get yourself in that registration, get yourself in that cruise. Again, for an inner cabin, it's only $350. The I believe the ocean view is $450, yes, and then the balcony is $550. Okay, $150 will get your deposit, get you locked in and things like that. And it goes towards your final trip, but the full trip has to be paid by July 11th. Okay, the cruise is September 24th through the 28th. We already have seats filled. I'm telling you, y'all. At the end of the day, yes, it's a cruise for Divine Femininity. However, okay, sponsored by is put on by Chakra Bliss Tea and Chakra Bliss University. This is not something that I'm doing myself. I've been asked to be a keynote for this particular retreat. Okay, but at the end of the day, even though it is a women's retreat, it is also still a cruise, y'all. Hello, if you've ever been on a cruise, then you know once you have paid your fees for this cruise, you are done paying. Okay, all inclusive. You can eat whatever you want to eat. You can have as much fun as you want to have. Yes, we're gonna have our gatherings, but at the end of the day, you're still on vacation, my love. Okay, you still on vacation. Bring your boo. He don't have to come over to the retreat, but you definitely can. Okay. Not only that, you can bring your sisters, your girlfriends, your mama, aunties, your besties, all of those things, your nieces, daughters, all of that, because it's for everybody. Come on and have a good time. It's very inexpensive. You already know. Come on and have us a good time with the women and doing some good, divine, feminine, sacred woman stuff. Okay. Come on in. Come on out. Let me hug your neck, please, and thank you. Give me the honor of hugging my neck. All right. All righty, you all. Listen, as y'all already know, I love you. I mean it. Before I close this out, be sure, if you do not have the book, get your book. Okay. Inbox me with your email address and I'll get the book over to you. If you need to come to my website, you can see whatever services I offer. I am a cognitive behavioral therapist. I am a life and purpose coach, a master life and purpose coach. I am a spiritual coach, sexual coach, business consultant, and all of those things. I am all of those things, and I have a nonprofit organization that I founded and I run on a regular daily basis. We're working on a major project with the state of Georgia right now. I'm so excited about it. If you want to be a part of it, feel free to go to the website and you can find more information about that. That information for those who are viewing on Clubhouse is in my bio. Those on Facebook video and YouTube and Twitter, you can see it on the screen. If you have any you want any information, or you have any information you want to send to me, email it to me at info@biancamissblee.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee, Facebook at the same, Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee, Twitter, everything except for the Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee, and YouTube, Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee. Okay. Again, I spoke about the Patreon. You don't want to miss the Patreon. I'm telling you now, I don't play no games over in the kitchen, Honey Mama's Beef Kitchen. I am a practitioner. I do the things spiritually. Okay. I am a healer. I am a mother. I'm telling you now, don't play about my spiritual duties. I do not play about my spiritual duties. So I'm teaching everything there is to know in spirituality. Okay. Everything that I'm gifted in knowing. Let me say that. Let me rework that one. I'm teaching everything that I'm gifted in knowing and teaching on my platform. Okay. So go to that Patreon. It's patreon.com, Mama B's Kitchen. Okay. Mama B's Kitchen. If you want to be a part of the mission, like I said, with the organization, you can go to my other website. It's www.thebtsawards.com. Again, thebtsawards.com. That information again is still in the bio for those on Clubhouse. Okay. I appreciate every last one of you all for coming, being a part of today's segment. It was amazing. Once again, another very, very confronting, very transformative conversation. And that's something that we have to sit with and really, really, really do the work, you all. You are deserving of the work being done. Do the work. Do the work. Stop walking around here, the walking dead. Okay. Stop doing that. No longer do that. Do the work. Invest in your work. Invest in yourself. Invest in your healing. If it's time, if it's funds, if it's whatever, I don't care. Do the work. Get to your very best self. Heal. All right? Heal. Heal. You deserve to. All right? Thank you all so very much. I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely, positively nothing, and I mean nothing, that you can do about it. Have a phenomenal rest of your week. This is the very first day of the next week coming. Go in and win. All hits, no misses. Love you. I mean it. We'll see you next week. Peace.